Oh, baby's gone, the one I love. So to this cabaret I come, but it seems to ease the night away, and I hear that country music play. So play me one more country song before the lights go out and I'm gone. To me this night won't seem so long. Just play me one more country song. Tonight, I think I'll take a walk down some dark and lonely street. The echo of my baby's stairs are drowning in this country music beat. So play me one more country song before the lights go out and I'm gone. To me this night won't seem so long. Just play me one more country song. Just play me one more country song.
The presentations are going to be done by Mike Bossio, Darrell Cramp, and Mayor Ron Higgins. And the plaque by Bill White of the White Brothers Country, Introduction into the Land O'Lakes Hall of Fame.
Dawn's getting to be a regular presenter.
I think he's going to get a job up here.
How about that, folks? Mr. Walter Cameron. As long as I've been aware of country music, I've been aware of Walter Cameron and all the great tunes that he played. And many times he played in the old parish hall in Plevna. And the hall is gone, but Walter lives on. Here he is, folks. And on behalf of the White Brothers, we're very pleased to sponsor this plaque and present to Walter today, inducted into the Music Hall of Fame.
You're okay, you're okay. Can't see.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I don't know if I got a good one or not.
I had it on video and now I've got it on.
I should have brought my regular camera.
Yeah, I should have too.
I think Walter started out with the Whites, so it's only appropriate that we should pay honor today. We have our cousin Don here, and Walter played with the Mississippi Valley Boys, and that was Don's father's band. Mississippi River Boys, yes.
Yeah.
I can't see it. Can you see to change that from? I think I got it on facial and I can't get it back.
Don't go away, Don. Let him go away.
Can't see.
I can't see either,
Oh,
but
it's hard
I've got
to
it
see it,
going.
Actually, when we were playing together, you could never wait for intermission. You're always wandering off.
I lost your picture here with
Okay.
the camera.
Okay.
I
Anyway,
can't see a thing there.
you wouldn't know it to look at Walter and I, but I first met him back in 1947. And his sister Jeannie had taken my parents, myself, up to Canada to meet Merville and Lissy. And they all went out to a dance on Saturday night, me included, and Walter. And it was Walter's task to look after me while they were dancing. Now, apparently, he showed a distinct lack of appreciation for my vocal skills. Because after they had their dances and came back to sit down, he said he wasn't going to look after that squalling little bugger anymore. That ended the first stage of our relationship. Now, when Walter started this high school, there was no bus from Canada to Charlotte Lake, so he went down to Napanee and went to high school there, and he lived with his sister Jeannie and her husband. And Jeannie gave him his first guitar when he was 14, if I'm not mistaken. Right. And he was no stranger to music because his father and his grandfather, they were all, had played music and whatnot. So he took to this like a duck to water. And then his parents moved down to Snow Road, where he could get the bus to Charlotte Lake. So he moved back up with his parents. And he met up with Gilbert Dunham. And Neville Wells has referred to them previously when I was talking to him as the Snow Road Orchestra. And Neville said Walter was his inspiration to get involved in music. So hey, yeah, inspired somebody. So anyways, after Walter got to singing and playing down pat, there was no holding back. He played with Neil and Flora Perry and Bill Dunn and Neville. And he also played with Bill Hanna and his Nightingales and Jimmy Miller and his Ramblers. In 1959, Walter and I became reacquainted when he came and joined the Mississippi River Boys. Now, just a little while ago, down there by the fence, the gate, we were talking, and he said, "You remember those black suits we used to wear and the white shirts and the four-in-hand ties?" He said, we should have been called the Undertakers. But, Walter, I want to let you know that only for you would I put a coat on in a hot afternoon like this. Now, I was digging around in my files at home, and I found something that will definitely remind you of the black suits, the white shirts, and the four-in-hand tie.
Oh, God. Oh, my gosh. Fantastic.
Yeah, just a couple years ago. Anyways, Walter and I played together for 10 years during that period, and it started a friendship that has lasted for almost 60 years. So we've been hanging around with one another for a long time. Anyways, then he headed off to play with the Country Gentlemen that had consisted of the late Johnny Foster, Frank Coleman, Earl Foster, Arnie Foster, and of course Walter. In 1971, he saw the light. He came back to the Mississippi River Boys. And we played together, up until 77, I think. Now, one of the highlights of the group in that day, and Walter here was heavily involved in this, is we played at Rideau Hall with the Governor General Vanier. We were there for 2 Christmas parties, and the Vaniers really liked fiddle tunes. Then we, after the new Governor General came in, which was Roland Michener, we played for them once, but they didn't seem to like the fiddle tunes. So that was the last time we were ever at Rideau Hall. Let's see. Oh, and then he decided to go on the road in 77, and he joined up with the Ron McMunn Mississippi Country Roadshow. And up until 80, he toured from Corner Brook, Newfoundland to the Calgary Stampede, and every drinking hole in between. Also, actually, you also worked with Ron on some recordings in Nashville, right? Yeah, they were produced by Josh Graves. Right. Then, when Walter decided it was time to get off the road, he came back and he joined up with Jim White and the Country Pals. Jim is my uncle, or was my uncle. Well, I guess he still is, just he's not active. Very. When Jim's health deteriorated, he asked Walter to take over the contract with the Legion. At that point, Walter started Wally and Wildwood. And he kept that band going from 82 to 2006. Now, the other thing I mustn't forget to mention is Walter's sense of humor, which I imagine most of you have been subjected to occasionally. No matter where he performed with us, or where I've seen him perform ever since, he always usually manages to keep the audience and the band in stitches. We had him with my band Grateful We're Not Dead in Lanark Lodge one night, and for people that usually don't have a lot to laugh about, he kept them laughing. Now, I guess you could say you're sort of semi-retired.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. However, when I'm online reading articles about country music, if I see anything about events in, say, Plevna or Ampa or Snow Road or Sharbert Lake, there's usually a picture of Walter and he's got his guitar and he's singing. So you're just sort of like the Energizer Bunny, eh? You just keep going and going and going. Well, anyway, that's just a short history of Walter's involvement in country music. And I intentionally left out all the juicy details. Yeah, because it likely would incriminate me as well. So anyways, congratulations, Walter, on being inducted into the Land O'Lakes Traditional Music Hall of Fame.